What is up, enthusiasts? It is Cedar Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. Today, we will be talking about roller coaster restraints. In some situations, they might not be that important, but in other situations, they might change the quality of the entire ride within itself. So today, we are going to be looking at what the best possible restraint could be on a roller coaster. We're going to look at multiple restraints here, ones that I have been on and ones that I have not been on, but have heard good things from other people, and we are going to look more in depth into them and see what the best could be. So in this video, I'm going to give 3 of my favorite qualities on a roller coaster restraint, and these 3 define what I think is the best restraint. Now, let me give a few rules. Rule 1 is that these all have to be major roller coasters. Kiddie coasters are not included. Another rule in this list is that all of these selections are by me, but I decided to inspire it off of a collection of popular opinions between other enthusiasts. And the third rule is this only applies for roller coasters, not flat rides. So the 3 categories I will be talking about are room, comfort, and exposure. The first category I'm going to talk about here is room. Room is simply being the room in between your thighs and stomach and the restraint. Now, I have 3 restraints for each category, so let's get right into the top 3 in my opinion for room. These are the 3 best restraints for room in my personal opinion on major roller coasters. At the number 3 spot, we have the B&M Classic over-the-shoulder restraints. I absolutely adore these restraints. I know it doesn't have some fans, but at the same time, most people would agree that these restraints give you some pretty good room during the ride experience. This is a very fun restraint. It gives you a lot of room to enjoy the ride more, and you could put your hands up if you're not bundled up next to someone. At the number 2 spot, we have Gravity Group Timberliners. These are extremely comfortable and extremely good. These give you a lot of room, and these are on the newer Gravity Group roller coasters. I was shocked when I first rode Kentucky Flyer that these things have no seatbelts whatsoever, at least on most of the models. See, you have a very comfortable lap bar that you put down, and it barely touches your thighs whatsoever. And when you get some airtime, you really fly out of your seat, and at points in the ride, it really doesn't feel safe. At the number 1 spot, we are of course talking about buzz bars. Now, there are many variations of this, but the main kind are bars that come down, sitting 90 degrees down, and they don't even touch your thighs most of the time. These are insane, and especially when they don't have seatbelts. I've experienced buzz bars without seatbelts, and it is truly an awe-inspiring experience. On the old Conneaut Blue Streak, they used to have no seatbelts on their trains, and let me just say, if you sat in the back row, you would have gotten the ride of your life. My waist was at level with the top of the train. It was insane. But unfortunately, they did add seatbelts, and it does suck that most of these buzz bar coasters do have seatbelts, which kind of alters the experience. The second category is comfort. Now, this one is pretty self-explanatory. It's just the comfort of the actual restraint. So yeah, let's talk about this. At the number 3 spot, we have Intamin T-bars. Now, Intamin T-bars can be pretty stiff at times, but most of the time, let me just say I find a lot of comfort in these restraints. They are extremely comfortable. They hug your thighs, and they wrap around your lap. It's a very nice experience, and during the ride experience, when you get some airtime, you can lift up into that T-bar knowing that you will not get hurt, and plus the ride never staples. I will get to that later why that is. At the number 2 spot, we have Timberliners again. Timberliners, once again, are extremely nice restraints, give you a lot of room, but when you do smack into that lap bar, these are extremely comfortable and honestly feel like pillows. I already explained a lot about this, so I won't explain much here. But number 1 in my personal opinion are the B&M Clamshells. These are extremely comfortable. These are the ones that are found on the Hyper and Giga coasters by Bolliger and Mabillard, and some extent coasters like Steel Dragon 2000. And let me just say, when you pull down this restraint, it just feels like a giant, firm pillow on your lap throughout the entire ride experience. They're big and they are comfortable. These are great restraints, some of my favorites. And let me just say, when you're getting that good airtime on a B&M Hyper, this restraint definitely comes into play as you feel like you're squishing into a nice pillow instead of a ride restraint. Now, before I end this category, I just want to say that I have an unpopular opinion when it comes to this restraint. Now, I gotta say, I really like the newer B&M vest restraints, and I think these are some of the most comfy restraints on the market. A lot of people say it strangles you, but in my opinion, it honestly feels like a big teddy bear. With some of the exceptions of people stapling you, this will be a very comfy ride experience if you do it the right way. Now, the final category is exposure. Now, this is different from room. Room is the space between you and the restraint. Exposure is the size of the restraint. If a restraint is extremely small, you are exposed to the elements of a ride. When it comes to vest restraints, a big con in this is that you are completely strapped in. But some of the restraints I'll be talking about do the exact opposite, and their main specialty is letting you be free. Coming in at the number 3 spot is actually the only roller coaster restraint I have not experienced on this list. It is the Infinity restraints from Gerstlauer. Now, these don't have seatbelts, these come right on you, and when you are on the ride, you are completely free. And when you go upside down, you have some of the best hang time. You have a completely free experience. You can put your hands up, you can do whatever you want, and these restraints just look absolutely incredible. At the number 2 spot, we have the GCI Millennium Flyer trains. Now, these trains have pretty nice restraints because when you are flowing through a GCI layout, you feel absolutely free, putting your hands up, and these are very small restraints that just cover your thighs. And let me just say, I absolutely love these restraints. They are as well very comfortable, but their main specialty is definitely the clearance they have between you and the rest of the ride. But the number 1 spot for me is the Intamin TBar. Oh my goodness, I talked about this in comfort, but oh my goodness, when you are riding some of these rides, you feel like you have barely any restraint touching you whatsoever. These things barely touch your thighs, and when they do, it's such a little portion. You feel so free, your stomach is exposed, everything is exposed except for your upper thighs, and it's an incredible experience when you are on a ride with a TBar. So, now we are going to figure out of all of these, what is the best restraint. Now, let me just say that if the room is your biggest example for a factor in a restraint, then the buzz bars would easily take your favorite restraint. If it's comfort, then it will be the B&M Clamshells, and if it's exposure, it will be TBars. But I want to think about something that is good in all 3 categories. Now, notice not one single restraint made all 3 of the top 3s in the categories, but some of them did make 2 out of the 3. So I will be talking about one of the restraints that did make 2 out of the 3. We have the Intamin TBar restraints. I absolutely love these restraints so much. There are so many reasons why I love these restraints. When it comes to room, it barely touches your thighs whatsoever. When it comes to comfort, it's pretty soft on your thighs and is an incredible experience. When it comes to exposure, it is the best you can get when it comes to exposure. It's an extremely tiny lap bar and barely touches your thighs whatsoever. Now, another reason I have it up here so much is I remember saying that you will not get stapled on these restraints. Now, these restraints will come down very gently and very softly, and they are very stiff when you pull them down. This is because it is caused by pressure instead of clicking like most of the other restraints out there, which applies to most people. This will allow a more flexible ride experience and one more to a unique fitting of someone individually. So that is my video. Did I forget any restraints in this video? Did I leave out another one that is the best? Or did I leave out a few as the favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. This is Cedar Flags, and I will see you all later.